What happens when America's most beloved music show suddenly vanishes without explanation? No goodbye, no final episode. Just silence. For 35 years, Soul Train was more than television. It was a lifeline. Every Saturday, millions of Americans tuned in to watch young dancers move to the latest hits. They saw themselves reflected on screen for the first time. Black culture wasn't just acknowledged, it was celebrated. Don Cornelius built an empire from nothing, a traffic cop from Chicago's South Side who dared to dream bigger. He gave voice to the voiceless. He made stars out of street dancers. He turned a simple music show into a cultural revolution. But behind that smooth voice and cool demeanor, pressure was building. The music industry was changing. Hip-hop was rising. Old-school executives were losing control. Cornelius faced an impossible choice: evolve or die. Then came March 2006, a routine taping session in Los Angeles. Something went wrong that day, something so damaging that it killed Soul Train instantly. This is verified fact. The show never aired another episode. But what actually happened in that studio remains one of television's greatest mysteries. The man who gave America its groove would spend his final years haunted by that moment. Was it artistic integrity? Was it stubborn pride? Or was it something darker that ended the Soul Train's incredible journey? Today, we uncover the rise and tragic fall of television's most important music show. You're watching Retro Waves, where the real stories behind music's biggest moments come to light. We dig deeper than the headlines. We find the truth behind the legends. If you're ready to discover the secrets that shape the soundtrack of your life, hit that subscribe button right now, because every week, we bring you the music history that others are afraid to tell. This is Retro Waves, your home for the stories that changed everything. Don Cornelius grows up poor on Chicago's South Side in the 1940s. America is deeply divided by race. For a young black man, opportunities are few. Dreams feel impossible. He works whatever jobs he can find: traffic officer, insurance salesman, door-to-door pitches in neighborhoods that don't want him there. Every day is a fight for dignity. Every paycheck barely covers the rent. But Don has something different: a smooth voice, a quiet confidence. When he speaks, people listen.
Bet your last money it's all gonna be a stone gas, honey. I'm Don Cornelius, and as always in parting, we wish you...
He knows he's meant for more than directing traffic on cold Chicago streets. In 1966, at age 30, he makes a desperate move. He enrolls in a 3-month broadcasting course. His family thinks he's crazy. Why give up steady work for a pipe dream? Black men don't become television stars. That's just not how the world works. This is verified fact. WCIU-TV hires him as a reporter. It's a small station. The pay is terrible, but it's television. It's a start. Don studies every successful TV host. He practices his delivery. He learns about lighting, cameras, production. Most importantly, he notices something missing from television. Where are the young black faces? Where is the music that fills the clubs and house parties? Where is the culture he knows and loves? Television shows black people as maids and criminals, never as artists, never as trendsetters, never as the beautiful creative community he knows they are. Late at night, after his reporting shifts, Don starts dreaming bigger. What if there was a show just for black music? What if young dancers could show America how to move? What if he could create something that had never existed before? His bosses laugh at the idea. His friends call it impossible. The music industry won't take meetings with him. Record labels hang up on his calls. But Don Cornelius refuses to give up. He's spent his whole life being told no. This time, he's going to create his own yes. But then came the moment that changed everything. WCIU-TV in Chicago takes a chance on Don Cornelius. They give him 30 minutes every Saturday morning for something called Soul Train. The budget is almost nothing. The studio is tiny. The equipment is borrowed. But Don has a vision that money can't buy. He recruits dancers from local high schools and colleges, kids who move like they're floating on air, kids who create new steps every weekend, kids who dress like tomorrow's fashion designers. The first episode is rough around the edges, but something magical happens. The camera captures pure joy. These young people aren't performing for fame or money. They're dancing because the music moves their souls. Word spreads through Chicago's black community like wildfire. Saturday mornings become sacred. Families gather around television sets to watch their neighbors, their children, their friends show America how to dance. Local record stores report something incredible. Whatever songs play on Soul Train sell out by Monday morning. Don Cornelius is accidentally creating hit records. The phone calls start coming. Record executives who wouldn't return his calls before suddenly want meetings. They smell money. They see opportunity. Major companies like Johnson Products and Sears want to sponsor the show. They see something television has never offered before: direct access to young black consumers, people with money to spend, people hungry for representation. Don stays cool under pressure. He negotiates carefully. He protects his vision. This isn't just about money. This is about dignity. This is about showing America the beauty of black culture. On October 2, 1971, Soul Train goes national. Syndicated television, coast to coast, primetime Saturday afternoons. The response is immediate. Ratings soar. Fan mail pours in from every state. Young people across America learn the latest dances from their television screens. Don Cornelius becomes more than a host. He becomes a cultural ambassador, that smooth voice introducing artists, that cool confidence welcoming viewers to the hippest trip in America, the signature sign-off that becomes legendary. You can bet your last money, it's all gonna be a stone gas, honey. Soul Train isn't just a television show anymore, it's a movement, and Don Cornelius is leading the revolution. By 1975, Soul Train is appointment television. The show averages over 4 million viewers every Saturday. That's bigger than most primetime programs. The biggest names in music beg to appear. James Brown, the godfather of soul, makes Soul Train his television home. Aretha Franklin brings gospel fire to the small screen. Marvin Gaye debuts new songs that become instant classics. But it's not just about the superstars. Don has an eye for future legends. A young Michael Jackson first moonwalks on national television during a Soul Train appearance with the Jackson 5. Jeffrey Daniel, one of the show's regular dancers, actually teaches Michael that iconic move. The Soul Train line becomes America's most famous dance floor. 2 rows of young people face each other. One by one, they strut down the middle, showing off their signature moves. It's electric, it's spontaneous, it's pure television magic. Fashion designers study Soul Train like a textbook. Whatever the dancers wear on Saturday becomes Monday's must-have look. Afros grow bigger, colors get brighter, style becomes bolder. Don Cornelius is accidentally launching fashion trends that reshape American culture. The show creates stars out of nowhere. Rosie Perez dances her way to Hollywood. Jody Watley becomes a pop sensation. Dancers who started as high school kids become professional choreographers, backup performers, and solo artists. By 1978, Soul Train reaches its peak ratings, minus nearly 5 million viewers per episode. Don Cornelius graces magazine covers. Life magazine names him one of America's 100 most important people. The kid from Chicago's South Side is now a media mogul. The Soul Train Music Awards launch in 1987. It becomes the first major award show specifically celebrating black excellence in music. Artists who were ignored by mainstream awards finally get recognition. The ceremony is glamorous, emotional, and deeply meaningful. Don expands the brand carefully. Soul Train merchandise, Soul Train records, Soul Train concerts, but he never loses sight of the core mission: authentic representation of black culture on national television. Television executives study his success. They try to copy the formula, but nobody can replicate Don's magic combination of cool confidence and genuine respect for the music and the artists. Behind that smooth exterior, Don Cornelius runs Soul Train like a perfectionist. According to verified accounts from former dancers, he controls everything. Outfits must meet his approval. Dance moves can't be too suggestive. The vibe must stay classy, positive, and uplifting. Some dancers later complained they never got paid. Appearing on Soul Train was considered payment enough. The exposure was priceless. A few minutes on national television could change a young person's life forever. By the early 1980s, Soul Train is more than entertainment. It's cultural education. White teenagers learn black slang from watching the show. Dance moves spread from inner cities to suburbs. Music that might never get radio play finds a national audience through Don's platform. The show is influencing an entire generation. Hip-hop is starting to emerge from New York's streets. New Jack Swing is evolving in studios across America. Electronic music is changing how songs are made. But behind the spotlight, trouble is brewing. The late 1980s bring changes Don Cornelius doesn't like. Hip-hop is exploding. Rap music is taking over the streets. Young people want something harder, rawer, more rebellious than the smooth soul Don has always championed. Artists like Run DMC, LL Cool J, and Public Enemy represent a new generation. Their music is political. Their lyrics are sometimes harsh. Their energy is aggressive in ways that make Don uncomfortable. According to verified interviews, Don believes hip-hop portrays negative stereotypes about black people. He worries about language violence and imagery that might harm the community he's worked so hard to represent positively. In 1992, he makes a public statement that shocks the music world. "I don't want my show overtaken by sounds that don't represent anything positive." The backlash is immediate and brutal. Young artists feel rejected by the man who was supposed to champion black music. Record labels start bypassing Soul Train for newer platforms. MTV launches Yo! MTV raps and steals the hip-hop audience Don is losing. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, former dancers are speaking out. According to verified accounts, Rosie Perez reveals that Don controlled every aspect of their appearance and behavior. He once forced her to change her dance style because he thought it was too suggestive. The exploitation rumors grow louder. Dancers who helped make Soul Train famous never saw a paycheck. They gave their creativity, their youth, their energy to build Don's empire. In return, they got 15 minutes of television exposure and a handshake. Ratings begin dropping in the 1990s. From a peak of 5 million viewers, the show falls to under 3 million, then 2 million, then lower. Local stations start moving Soul Train to worse time slots or dropping it entirely. Don tries to adapt. He steps down as host in 1993 after 23 years. New hosts like Mistro Clark, Shamar Moore, and Dorian Gregory take over, but they can't recreate Don's special magic. The show feels different, less authentic, less essential. The music industry is changing too fast. Grunge rock, alternative music, and Latin pop are expanding the definition of what's popular. Soul Train feels stuck in the past. What once seemed timeless now seems dated. Personal pressures mount for Don Cornelius. According to verified court records, he faces financial difficulties as production costs rise and syndication deals become less profitable. The empire he built is slowly cracking. Industry insiders whisper about Don's increasing isolation. According to former staff members, he becomes more controlling, more difficult to work with. The smooth confidence that made him a star starts looking like stubborn inflexibility. New competition emerges everywhere. BT creates fresher music shows. Cable networks offer 24-hour music programming. The internet starts changing how young people discover new songs. Soul Train's once revolutionary concept becomes just another syndicated rerun. By the early 2000s, the show that once defined Saturday afternoons is gasping for air. Production schedules shrink. Guest stars become harder to book. The dancers look less enthusiastic. The energy feels forced. Don Cornelius watches his life's work slowly dying. The question becomes not whether Soul Train will survive, but how it will end. Would this be the end, or just another turning point? Don Cornelius tries everything to save his dying show. Between 2003 and 2006, Soul Train undergoes desperate makeovers. New sets, younger hosts, more hip-hop artists, flashier graphics. The changes feel desperate. Longtime fans notice the difference immediately. The show that once felt effortlessly cool now seems to be trying too hard. According to industry reports, Don brings in new producers who understand contemporary music better. They book artists like Destiny's Child, Usher, and Mary J. Blige. The ratings bump slightly, but it's not enough. Behind the scenes, Don struggles with letting go. According to former staff members, he still wants final approval on everything, but he's increasingly out of touch with what young audiences want. The vision that made Soul Train revolutionary in 1971 has become a limitation in 2005. The syndication deals get worse each year. This is verified fact. Local stations pay less money for fewer episodes. Production costs keep rising while revenue keeps falling. Simple math suggests Soul Train can't survive much longer. Don tries one more surprise move. According to unverified industry rumors, he considers selling the entire Soul Train brand to a major network. BET, MTV, and VH1 all express interest, but Don can't bring himself to sign away his life's work. The tension between preservation and evolution tears at him. Keep Soul Train exactly as it was, and it becomes a nostalgic relic. Change it too much, and it loses the authenticity that made it special. By 2006, Soul Train is producing only a handful of new episodes per year. Most stations are running reruns from the golden years. The show exists more in memory than in reality. Industry insiders start writing obituaries before the patient is officially dead. Music magazines publish retrospectives. Former dancers give interviews about the show's cultural impact. Everyone seems to be preparing for the inevitable end, but Don Cornelius isn't ready to give up. He schedules what he hopes will be a comeback taping session. In March 2006, Soul Train books a rising hip-hop artist for what's planned as a standard performance. Nobody expects this routine session to become the show's final moment. Nobody predicts that whatever happens in that Los Angeles studio will create a mystery that lasts for decades. The last chapter of Soul Train's story is about to be written, but it won't be the ending anyone imagined. March 2006, a Los Angeles television studio. What should be another ordinary Soul Train taping becomes television history's strangest mystery. The production starts badly. The guest artist arrives an hour late. The crew has been reshuffled at the last minute. Staff members later describe the atmosphere as unstable and chaotic. According to multiple eyewitness accounts, Don Cornelius is backstage, even though he's no longer the official host. Former employees say he seems agitated about the show's direction. The man who once controlled every detail is watching his creation spiral beyond his control. The performance that day crosses lines Soul Train has never crossed before. According to verified accounts from crew members, the choreography is more provocative than usual. The costumes are more revealing. The energy is rawer and more aggressive than Don's traditional standards. Halfway through the taping, something snaps. According to industry insiders, Don calls for an emergency stop. He demands an immediate meeting with Tribune Entertainment, Soul Train's main distributor. Within days, the dominoes fall fast. Tribune Entertainment withdraws from their distribution deal. Without major network support, Soul Train can't afford to continue production. Within 3 weeks of that fateful taping, over 40% of local stations stop airing the show. There's no official announcement, no farewell episode, no explanation to loyal fans who have watched for decades. The mysterious final episode is never aired. According to former staff members, the footage still exists, but it remains locked away due to legal and content concerns. Industry rumors call it cursed or too controversial to release. The silence devastates Don Cornelius. According to verified reports, he declines all interview requests after the cancellation. In a rare 2007 radio appearance, he simply says, "I think it went far enough." Those are among his last public words about Soul Train. Don withdraws completely from public life. The man who once thrived in the spotlight becomes a hermit. According to family friends, he feels betrayed by the industry he helped create. The culture he championed has evolved beyond his comfort zone. In 2008, Don is arrested on domestic violence charges, though he serves no jail time. His personal life is falling apart along with his professional legacy. The final tragedy comes on February 1, 2012. Don Cornelius is found dead in his Los Angeles home. The coroner rules it suicide. He's 75 years old. His death sends shockwaves through the entertainment world. Artists who performed on Soul Train share emotional tributes. Dancers who got their start on the show remember the man who gave them a platform, but questions remain unanswered. What really happened during that final taping? Why did Don choose to end his life? According to the Los Angeles Times, his memorial service is private, attended only by close family. The Los Angeles Times writes in their obituary, though he was a trailblazer, Cornelius exited the main stage in the quietest way possible. The man who gave America its groove dies in silence, leaving behind a legacy as complex as the culture he helped define. Soul Train changed American culture forever. It was the longest-running music television program in history, airing over 1,100 episodes across 35 years. The show broke barriers that seemed unbreakable. Before Soul Train, black culture existed on the margins of television. Don Cornelius put it in the spotlight, unapologetically and beautifully. According to cultural historians, Soul Train influenced fashion, language, and dance across all racial lines. White teenagers in suburbs learned moves created in inner cities. Slang from the show entered mainstream conversation. Styles seen on Saturday afternoons became Monday's trends. musicians still credit Soul Train with launching their careers. According to verified interviews, artists like Chaka Khan, Earth, Wind & Fire, and Luther Vandross all say the show was crucial to their success. In an era before MTV, Soul Train was often the only way to see new music performed live. The ripple effects continue today. The Soul Train Awards still exist, now produced by BET. The ceremony honors the same values Don Cornelius championed: authentic black artistry and cultural pride. Modern artists acknowledge the debt they owe. According to verified statements, performers like Beyoncé, Bruno Mars, and Justin Timberlake have all praised Soul Train's influence on their careers and artistic vision. The Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture now houses Soul Train artifacts. The show is recognized as essential American cultural history, worthy of preservation alongside jazz and blues. YouTube has given Soul Train eternal life. Millions of views on classic performances introduce new generations to the show's magic. Young people born decades after the show ended discover the joy and artistry Don Cornelius showcased. In 2019, BET produced American Soul, a biographical drama series about Don Cornelius and Soul Train's early years. The show introduced Don's story to audiences who never experienced the original program. Social media keeps the spirit alive. Hashtags like Soul Train Challenge go viral. Young dancers recreate classic Soul Train line moves. The format Don invented continues inspiring creativity across platforms he never could have imagined. But perhaps the greatest legacy is simpler. For 35 years, Soul Train told young black Americans they were beautiful, talented, and worthy of celebration. In a world that often said otherwise, Don Cornelius created a space where black excellence was the norm, not the exception. That message still resonates. The groove continues. The Soul Train keeps rolling, even without its original conductor. Don Cornelius dreamed of creating something that had never existed, a television show where black culture wasn't just acknowledged, but celebrated. He succeeded beyond his wildest imagination. For 3 decades, Soul Train was more than entertainment. It was validation, it was representation, it was proof that black creativity could captivate America when given the chance. The tragic ending doesn't diminish what came before. The mysterious final episode doesn't erase the joy of the Soul Train line. Don's personal struggles don't cancel out the careers he launched or the barriers he broke. Maybe that's the real lesson of Soul Train's story. Cultural change is messy. Pioneers pay personal prices for their breakthroughs. The people who fight to open doors often struggle to walk through them themselves. Don Cornelius gave America permission to move differently, to dress boldly, to express joy without apology, to see beauty in black faces, black bodies, black creativity. The train may have reached its final station, but the journey changed everyone who took the ride. The dancers who found fame, the artists who found audiences, the viewers who found themselves reflected on screen for the first time. Was Don Cornelius a perfect man? No. Was Soul Train a perfect show? No. But together they created something essential, a space where black dreams were allowed to flourish on national television. The mystery of that final episode may never be solved, but the magic of Soul Train lives forever. The beat goes on, the dance continues, and somewhere, the Soul Train is still rolling down the tracks of American culture, carrying the dreams Don Cornelius made possible.